This is the AIR World Service, the news snippets. Unlock 5 has set in from today. Most economic activities have been allowed to resume outside containment zones. International air travel would remain suspended till 31st October. Social, religious, political and other gatherings have been allowed with up to 200 guests in closed halls. No ceiling has been set in open spaces. However, wearing of masks, maintaining social distancing would be mandatory. Schools, colleges and institutions can open on a graded manner from 15th October. However, state authorities would have to take into consideration the local situation. Parents' consent would be essential for children to attend schools and colleges. India and Australia have agreed to further strengthen partnership on skills. A joint working group would be set up to formulate focus interventions. The 19th meeting of the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination WMCC on India-China border affairs took place. It was attended by senior officials from both sides. The two sides positively evaluated the outcome of the 6th Senior Commanders meeting. They emphasized the need to implement steps outlined during that meeting. Both sides agreed to maintain close consultations at the diplomatic and military level. They agreed that the next meeting of the senior commanders should be held at an early date for working towards early and complete disengagement of troops along the LAC. 52,73,201 people have recovered from coronavirus in the country in the last 24 hours. 85,376 people have recovered as per the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Recovery rate is 83.53%. 14,23,052 tests were conducted for COVID-19 during the past 24 hours all over the country. Fighting continued for the fourth consecutive day between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the disputed Nagorno-Karabakh region. French President Macron and Russian President Putin have called for immediate ceasefire. The US has banned palm oil import from Malaysian producers FGV after investigations into allegations that the producer uses forced labor. FGV is one of the world's largest crude palm oil producers. That's all we have for you in this edition of our news snippets from the AIR World Service.
जंगल जंगल फिर बात चली.
Radio is an inheritor of our ancient storytelling tradition. And what better medium than radio to bring you a series specially curated for children and the young at heart, based on the enchanting and enduring fables of India like the Panchatantra.
तो बच्चों, आज की कहानी का शीर्षक है Four Friends and the Hunter. कथा सुनाने का एक अलग ही अंदाज. और पता है ये कहां से आई है? गोवा से. जगह का नाम सुनते ही एक्साइटमेंट बढ़ गया ना? तो Four Friends and the Hunter. आओ सुनते हैं.
Once upon a time, in a jungle, there lived 4 friends. A deer, a mouse, a crow, and a tortoise. Let's meet them now. Say hello to the happy-go-lucky and all shook-up deer.
Well, bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm itching like a man on a fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting weird as a bug. I'm in love, I'm all shook up. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Here is the mouse from San Pedro.
Last night I dreamt of San Pedro, just like hiding up a gun. I know the song, young girl with eyes like the desert.
Meet the wise and high-flying crow.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone.
And finally, the steady tortoise, always a survivor.
I will survive. I will survive. Hey, hey.
were very good friends and would spend most of their time with one another. One day, they saw a hunter approaching the clearing where they stayed.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River.
Quickly, the deer ran away into the forest. The crow flew to the highest branch of the closest tree, and the mouse darted into a hole nearby. The tortoise, being a slow creature, could not escape as fast as the others. The hunter trapped him in his net.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side.
Though he was disappointed at not being able to catch the deer, the hunter was happy that he had the tortoise and would not go hungry. The deer, the mouse, and the crow were very worried to see their friend caught. They came up with a plan to save him. The crow flew high up in the sky to locate the hunter.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Then the deer overtook the hunter unseen and went and lay at a little distance on the path, pretending to be dead. When the hunter saw the deer lying on the ground, he thought, "That deer must be dead." He was very happy at having finally found the deer. He dropped the bag carrying the tortoise and went towards the deer. As soon as the hunter left the tortoise's side, the mouse cut through the net of the bag and freed the tortoise.
With goodbye, did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. And I've got all my life to live, and I've got all my love to give. I will survive. I will survive. Hey, hey.
The hunter, unaware of what the mouse had done, walked towards the deer. As soon as he came near the deer, it suddenly got up and bolted into the forest. The hunter was completely taken by surprise.
Malt sugar pie, ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Disappointed, he went back to pick up the bag containing the tortoise. Surprise, surprise! The bag was open and the tortoise was gone. Shaking his head at his bad luck, the hunter went back home.
Country roads, take me home to the place where I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home down country road, take me home.
Four friends celebrated their reunion in a grand manner.
Tropical, the island breeze, old nature wild and free. This is where I wanna be. La Isla Bonita. And when the samba played, the sun would set so high, ring through my ears and sting my eyes. Your Spanish lullaby.
तो कैसी लगी कहानी सुनाने की अलग शैली? कथा का शीर्षक था फोर फ्रेंड्स एंड द हंटर। इसे तैयार किया FM रेनबो आकाशवाणी पणजी ने। आप कहेंगे किस नाट्यमय संगीतमय प्रस्तुति में किस किस ने क्या क्या किया, है ना? बताते हैं। मुख्य स्वर रूना अग्रवाल, कछुआ तमारा फर्नांडिस, चूहा कैरोलिन न्यून्स, शिकारी बैम्बिनो डायस, हिरन एल्फवोल्ड सिल्वेरा, कौवा सावियो द नरोना। इधर कीबोर्ड पर थीं वेल्मा फर्नांडिस और गिटार पर एल्फवोल्ड सिल्वेरा। ऑडियो मिक्सिंग की बैम्बिनो डायस ने। परिकल्पना और प्रस्तुति सावियो द नरोना। कीप लिसनिंग, बाय फॉर नाउ।
A presentation of the Central English and Hindi Features Units. This program came to you from the External Services Division of All India Radio.
Tanum ta, taratatan tanum ta, tanum ta, nantari nantari tanum ta, tanum ta, jhanta jhum tanum ta, tanum ta, jhanta jhum tanum ta, jhannum ta tanum ta, taratatan tanum ta, tanum ta, nantari nantari tanum ta।
जंगल जंगल फिर बात चली।
The story of my experiments with truth. The reading from the autobiography is presented by Sri Gopalakrishna Gandhi, writer, teacher, and the youngest grandson of Kasturba Gandhi and Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. The words of the Mahatma in the voice of his grandson.
I had now to equip myself for the voyage. Some of the clothes I liked, and some I did not like at all. The necktie, which I delighted in wearing later, I then abhorred. The short jacket I looked upon as immodest, but this dislike was nothing before the desire to go to England, which was uppermost in my mind. I sailed at last from Bombay on the 4th of September. I had 4 notes of introduction to Dr. P.J. Mehta, to Shrijut Dalpatram Shukla, to Prince Ranjit Singh Ji, and to Dadabhai Nauroji. Someone on board had advised us to put up at the Victoria Hotel in London, and I accordingly went there. Dr. Mehta, to whom I had wired from Southampton, called at about 8 o'clock the same evening. He gave me a hearty greeting. He smiled at being in white flannels. As we were talking, I casually picked up his top hat and, trying to see how smooth his hat was, passed my hand over it the wrong way and disturbed the fur. Dr. Mehta looked somewhat angrily at what I was doing and stopped me. But the mischief had been done. The incident was a warning for the future. This was my first lesson in European etiquette, into the details of which Dr. Mehta humorously initiated me. "Do not touch other people's things," he said. "Do not ask questions as we usually do in India on first acquaintance. Do not talk loudly. Never address people as sir while speaking to them, as we do in India." I would continuously think of my home and country. My mother's love always haunted me. At night, the tears would stream down my cheeks, and home memories of all sorts made sleep out of the question. It was impossible to share my misery with anyone, and even if I could have done so, where was the use? I knew of nothing that would soothe me. Everything was strange, the people, their ways, and even their dwellings. I was a complete novice in the matter of English etiquette, and continuously had to be on my guard. There was the additional inconvenience of the vegetarian vow. Even the dishes that I could eat were tasteless and insipid. England I could not bear, but to return to India was not to be thought of. Now that I had come, I must finish the 3 years, said the inner voice. I undertook the all too impossible task of becoming an English gentleman. The clothes after the Bombay cut that I was wearing were, I thought, unsuitable for English society, and I got new ones at the Army and Navy stores. I also went in for a chimney pot hat costing 19 shillings, an excessive price in those days. And not content with this, I wasted £10 on an evening suit made in Bond Street, the centre of fashionable life in London, and got my good and noble-hearted brother to send me a double watch chain of gold. It was not correct to wear a ready-made tie, and I learned the art of tying one for myself. While in India, the mirror had been a luxury permitted on the days when the family barber gave me a share. Here, I wasted 10 minutes every day before a huge mirror, watching myself arranging my tie and parting my hair in the correct fashion. My hair was by no means soft, and every day it meant a regular struggle with the brush to keep it in position. And as if all this were not enough to make me look the thing, I directed my attention to other details that were supposed to go towards the making of an English gentleman. I was told it was necessary for me to take lessons in dancing. So I decided to take dancing lessons at a class and paid down £3 as fees for a term. I must have taken about 6 lessons in 3 weeks, but it was beyond me to achieve anything like rhythmic motion. I could not follow the piano, and hence found it impossible to keep time. Let no one imagine that my experiments in dancing and the like marked a stage of indulgence in my life. I had my wits about me. I kept account of every farthing I spent, and my expenses were calculated carefully. Every little item, such as omnibus fares or postage or a couple of coppers spent on newspapers, would be entered, and the balance struck every evening before going to bed. That habit has stayed with me ever since, and I know that as a result, though I have had to handle public funds amounting to lakhs, I have succeeded in exercising strict economy in their disbursement, and instead of outstanding debts, have had invariably a surplus balance in respect of all the movements I have led. Let every youth take a leaf out of my book and make it a point to account for everything that comes into and goes out of his pocket, and like me, he is sure to be a gainer in the end. I made an effort to simplify my life. I felt I could surely have 1 room instead of 2 and cook some of my meals at home. That would be a saving of £4 to £5 each month. I came across books on simple living. I gave up the suite of rooms and rented one instead, invested in a stove and began cooking my breakfast at home. The process scarcely took me more than 20 minutes, for there was only oatmeal porridge to cook and water to boil for cocoa. I had lunch out, and for dinner, bread and cocoa at home. Thus I managed to live on 1 shilling and 3 pence a day. This was also a period of intensive study. Plain living saved me plenty of time, and I passed my examination. Let not the reader think that this living made my life by any means a dreary affair. On the contrary, the change harmonized my inward and outward life. It was also more in keeping with the means of my family. My life was certainly more truthful, and my soul knew no bounds of joy. Towards the end of my second year in England, I came across 2 theosophists. They talked to me about the Gita. They were reading Sir Edwin Arnold's translation, the Song Celestial, and they invited me to read the original with them. I felt ashamed, as I had read the divine poem neither in Sanskrit nor in Gujarati. I was constrained to tell them that I had not read the Gita, but that I would gladly read it with them. I began reading the Gita with them. The book struck me as one of priceless worth. The impression has ever since been growing on me, with the result that I regard it today as the book par excellence for the knowledge of truth. It has afforded me invaluable help in my moments of gloom. About the same time, I met a good Christian from Manchester in a vegetarian boarding house. He said, "Do please read the Bible." I accepted his advice, and he got me a copy. The Sermon on the Mount went straight to my heart. My young mind tried to unify the teaching of the Gita, the Light of Asia, and the Sermon on the Mount. That renunciation was the highest form of religion appealed to me. There was a great exhibition at Paris in 1890. I had read about its elaborate preparations, and I also had a keen desire to see Paris. So I thought I had better combine 2 things in one and go there at this juncture.
You just heard the reading from the autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi, presented by Shri Gopala Krishna Gandhi, the youngest grandson of Kasturba Gandhi and Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi.
This was a contribution of All India Radio World Service.
This is the World Service of All India Radio. We now bring you a commentary, Can Pakistan's APC Bell the Cat? It is scripted by Dr. Ashok Behuria, Senior Fellow and Coordinator, South Asia Center, Manohar Parrikar Institute for Defence Studies and Analysis. At long last, the opposition parties of Pakistan showed some semblance of unity and came together recently in Islamabad at the invitation of Bilawal Bhutto, chairman of the Pakistan People's Party, to hold an all-party conference APC and set an agenda for joint action for future. The Jamaat-e-Islami distanced itself from the show even as 12 other opposition parties attended it. This was the 4th time since the July 2018 elections that the opposition parties are holding an APC. The first APC was held on 28 July 2018, 3 days after elections, where all opposition parties alleged widespread rigging to tilt the results in favor of Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party. The other 2, conveyed by JUI Fazal in June 2019 and June 2020, were poorly attended and did not go beyond issuing tame statements about the poor performance of the government. In contrast, this APC, called Multi-Party Conference MPC, showed some sign of resolve to take on the Pakistan government. The meeting called for resignation of Imran Khan and ended with a 26-point resolution. A 3-staged anti-government action plan was announced to launch an all-party Pakistan Democratic Movement PDM. The PDM is to take shape soon. Countrywide public meetings, demonstrations and rallies will be held in December and culminate with a decisive long march towards Islamabad in January 2021. All democratic methods like protests, mass resignations and no confidence motions in parliament will be tried, said the opposition leaders. 2 patriarchs of the leading political parties, PMLN and PPP, Nawaz Sharif and Asif Ali Zardari respectively, addressed the audience through video links. Sharif's speech was openly critical of the Imran Khan government and its backers. He said, "Our struggle is not against Imran Khan. Our struggle is against those who installed Imran Khan and manipulated elections to bring an incapable man like him into power and thus destroyed the country." It was reported that the Pakistan government considered stopping his address but finally relented. Others raised a host of issues where the PTI government had failed to act, ranging from price rise, sectarianism, non-implementation of the National Action Plan on Terrorism, interference in judicial matters, release of political prisoners, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and establishment of a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. True to the spirit of the movement, the APC did talk about putting an end to the role of the establishment in politics. It has also been reported about a meeting being held earlier last month between the Army Chief Bajwa and 15 opposition leaders. Among the attendees were Shahbaz Sharif of PMLN, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari of the PPP, Sirajul Haq of the JUI, Amir Haider Hoti of the ANP, Asad Masood of the JUIF, and many others. Few government ministers also attended this meeting, according to reports. It was reported that the Pakistan Army Chief had assured the attendees that he would not brook interference of army in politics and urged them not to drag the army into it. He also said that the army did not have direct or indirect link with any political party, and whenever the civil administration calls upon the army to help, it is bound by the constitution to do so. Interestingly, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari and some PMLN leaders urged General Bajwa to ensure free and fair elections in future. Mariam Sharif of the PMLN later took a dig at those attending the meeting and said that such issues pertaining to elections and democracy should better be thrashed out in the parliament and not in the general headquarters, Rawalpindi. However, days after the meeting, Shahbaz Sharif, the leader of the opposition in Pakistan National Assembly and member of the PMLN, was arrested on corruption charges by the National Accountability Bureau. It has been reported that Pakistan Prime Minister wants to bring back Nawaz Sharif from London at the earliest. This could show Imran Khan as the Prime Minister who fought corruption head-on. It appears that the standoff between Pakistan government and the opposition parties is going to take a turn for the worse in the near future. That was a commentary. Can Pakistan's APC bell the cat? It was scripted by Dr. Ashok Behuria, Senior Fellow and Coordinator, South Asia Center, Manohar Parrikar Institute for Defence Studies and Analysis. This came to you from the World Service of All India Radio.